The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOMBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and make smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the Hockey Gambling Podcast, brand new YouTube page. Make sure you go check those guys out. The Hockey guys are giving away a free hoodie to celebrate their new YouTube channel. Register today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice on guys. Me, really real, villain real, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service. And I'm laughing because I'm reading the chat and they're going back and forth about this Bucks Pacers game. I think everybody is over this little Bucks Pacers rivalry that we've had this season. It's not even all-star, and these teams have played now. What is this? This is the fifth and final meeting. I hope it's the final meeting. No way they have another game after this, but I'm tired of talking about this game. I'm leading off with this game because I'm tired of talking about it. But what I'm not tired of doing is I'm not tired of hitting this game. I am perfect 4-0 in this game this season. Scott Studio Reichel. Scott, what is going on? Wait, where's my button? There he goes.
Scotty, beam me up.
Surprise.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Had a pretty good episode yesterday. Ended up splitting my lock and dog picks. Had Wemby over 2.5 blocks at even money as my lock. Got there in the first half. I think he had 4 in the first half. My dog didn't get there. I had Sabonis triple-double. He had like 19 rebounds or so, but the assists just weren't there. But shout out to the underdog lineup between Munaf and I as we ended up winning. It was plus 600. We had Derek White higher, 16.5 points he got there. We had Kobe White lower than 22.5 points. That got there. And we had Sabonis higher than 20.5 rebounds and assists. He had 19 rebounds and he got there easily. So, yeah, can't complain. Hit a 6-1 shot there. Hopefully you tailed that. But Wemby did his part. Sabonis did part of his part. He didn't get the triple-double for me. Couple of fun games yesterday. Decent amount of blowouts. I know you just mentioned the Pacers game. Shout out to Indiana for, getting the job done against Milwaukee.
Yep.
I want to give a shout out to OKC.
Pretty profitable 2 days on the show. Lante give you a lock and a dog. He swept his show. I missed my lock with Miami plus 7.5, but plus 270 on the Pacers. And we gave out the money line round robin of the Pacers, Jazz, and Heat. Unfortunately, the Heat didn't get it done, but man, did we get the Jazz. I mean, this show's been cooking the past 2 days of the New Year, Scott. So that and OKC is a buzzsaw that I don't think anybody okay, so they're now a half game out.
Game to watch, though. It was a great game.
They're a half game out of the 1 seed. In the past, week, maybe 2 weeks, SGA has scored north of 35 points and given not only a former MVP, Finals MVP champion in L, but now your NBA Finals favorite in the East side. Not East side, in the East Conference. The East Conference. No. Is this Thunder team legit?
I think they might be. Now, I don't think the full roster is set in stone. I do think if they want to actually go through multiple rounds of 7-game series, they do need a little bit of veteran experience, and I was not a big fan of how they closed out the game last night, for example. They held on. They did enough. J-Dub has done a good job of becoming the second option. We know Shea's incredible, and he's going to be an MVP finalist. It does feel like they do need a bit more size. They kind of got killed in the final couple minutes on the glass, which I do think they're going to need some assistance with. So I do think they do need another center, at least somebody who can help mitigate the damage on the boards. And I do still wonder if Giddey is the point guard of the future with this team for multiple reasons, but let's stick with the all-in-the-court reasons. I don't really know if I can trust him late in games. He's gotten better when it comes to the three-point shot, but he's still not a great fit, in my opinion, for this team. And I do think that's one of the pieces they need to potentially improve on. Of course, I mentioned the front court. Besides Chet, they need somebody else who can rebound on this team. But for the most part, you're looking at OKC being this good, and they have all the draft picks they have yet to even consider trading. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want to do it. The question is if Presti is going to pull the trigger Is he going to actually cash in these picks for a proven guy, or is he going to Danny Ainge the situation where he holds on to these picks for 5 years, doesn't do anything, misses out on, like, for example, for the Celtics, Anthony Davis, and suddenly you make the finals a couple of times, you make the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of times, and you don't win anything. So I do feel like there's a couple ways to do this. Ainge, I thought, should have traded the picks quicker than he actually did, and he missed out on a couple of stars that could have gone Boston a title. I hope Presti doesn't do the same thing. Presti should trade for a guy. This team is right there on the cusp. I think based on how the roster is currently constructed, they're good enough to potentially make the Western Conference Finals. Would I pick them to win the championship this year if they don't do any type of move whatsoever? I will not. I think they're going to get killed on the glass come playoff time. But they're right there. They're on the cusp. Do you agree with that or no?
Yeah, I mean, I think I disagree that I wouldn't pick them. I don't know if I can. But that Kings team was a buzzsaw all year, and then ran into Golden State last year. So maybe just the lack of playoff experience is a reason why I wouldn't pick them. But I mean, I'm pretty much sold that Shea should be the MVP if this Thunder team is 1-2 in the West. Easy. He should 100% be MVP. And I think it's now the question of, do the Thunder trade the Jazz their first round pick that they got for Derek Favors back for Lauri Markkanen? Give it back. Just give them their pick back. It is your pick. It was originally your pick. You can have it. Please take it back. Give us Lauri.
Lauri's even worth. Is he worth three first picks? Is he worth like 3 in a swap?
Yeah. Worth multiple, but I would make sure that the one that I give them is theirs. Like, I would.
Is that enough? Do you think Lauri's just the one piece they need, or do you think they need multiple pieces?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to help them on the glass. He's going to give them another additional level scorer. And I mean, it may be defensively, and I think that's the one thing that you're kind of looking at is what this team is going to look like defensively. But this offense is going to be clicking on all cylinders. I think that they're close, man. I really do think they're close. Like, Shea is a superstar. I think he's getting to the point where we could say he's a superstar.
And that's a very good defensive backcourt. That's like Derek White and Drew Holiday, which might be the best defensive backcourt in the entire league. And Shea was just walking into 30 and 3/4. Like, they were helpless the entire game. Tatum had to guard him late. I thought Tatum did a decent job for the most part, but still, Shea's just that guy. There's really nothing more to add. He's that guy. I'll ask you this, though. Quickly, I know we got a lot of games. Which team would you think has a better chance of actually making the NBA Finals? The Thunder or the Timberwolves? I'm taking OKC, and I'm not hesitating, but I just wanted to
I had to think. I mean, I think Anthony Edwards is going to have his moment, but I don't.
I think Shea's better than Anthony Edwards.
This Thunder, I think this Thunder team is a buzzsaw. Like, if I had these two in a series, I'm taking the Thunder. But
I just don't trust that in the playoff series. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah, but I think this is different. I think because I don't really trust Cat. I trust Anthony Edwards.
You trust Gobert in a playoff series?
I trust Anthony Edwards.
I'm saying that's one guy. That's kind of my point.
Yeah, I trust Anthony Edwards. I feel like I'm making clear. Perfect sense here. I trust Anthony Edwards. All right. Let's go ahead and let's talk about that aforementioned Pacers game that had the chat on 10 early this morning. YouTube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you're checking that out. Hey, the Milwaukee Bucks are on the road going to play the Indiana Pacers. Bucks open up -2.5. They are now currently -3.5. 258 is the total. Let's pull up an injury report here. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, I have Chris Middleton questionable with a wrist and knee injury. We have AJ Green out and Jay Crowder out, as you know. For the Pacers, Bruce Brown missed the previous 5 games, but it looks like he could make his return tonight. He is questionable. Andrew Nembhard also went out during that Bucks game with the back injury. He's questionable to play in this game again tonight. All right, Scott. What is this, number 5? The 5th installment of this game, the Bucks have won a grand total of 1.
Had quite a celebration for the 1, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They, and of course it was still about the Pacers. I'm very much questioning if the Pacers got the game ball last night. I think the Bucks held on to it. What are you doing here? 3.5.
I know that usually for these immediate rematch games, you tend to hope for a split, and you just assume that Milwaukee's going to bounce back and they'll be able to get the job done. I
Mm-hmm.
still don't trust this team defensively at all, and Halliburton was one rebound away from kind of matching Giannis's triple-double from the game prior. Not the same stat line, but still, he almost had a triple-double from one player on each team, which doesn't happen
Uh-huh.
that often. Indiana's just not afraid of this team, and I don't think most teams are. Now, Milwaukee's record is still really good, so I'm not going to automatically throw them out saying, oh, this team is screwed because the record's good, but defensively, this team just doesn't have it. And Lillard is not the guy that Milwaukee was hoping he would be. Now, you can look at the actual numbers. They're fine, but when you trade for Lillard and you get rid of Drew Holiday, you kind of need Lillard to look like he was still in Portland. And I feel like he doesn't look like that. I know he's had some moments here and there, but for the most part, would you agree that Lillard looks, I don't want to say a step slower, but he doesn't look as good as he did in Portland in years past? He's older, but would you agree on that?
Yes, by far.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
not
kind of my
because I
point.
had his higher than 25.5 points last game. No, that's not why. He's man, I
Just
I
watching
don't
him
know,
play. I
bro.
mean, he takes a lot of ill-advised shots because he's done that his entire career. The difference is this year they're not going in as much, and he can't guard anybody. He's a traffic cone. So you're trying to talk about how this team can stop a star point guard like Halliburton, which is the main secret to beating this Indiana team. And anytime you get Lillard switching to a pick and roll, it's what is it, barbecue chicken alert? It's a problem. Like they can't guard him. Like Halliburton kills this team every time. Now, the issue Indiana runs into is that with Miles Turner and the lack of paint defense, Giannis is going to get a free run to the lane every time. And it seemed like Indiana made the decision, the executive decision, we're not letting him drop 60 again. And they just decided to give him extra looks and they tried to force somebody else to beat them. And Lillard couldn't do that. So I feel like you might lean to Milwaukee here because it's an immediate rematch game, but I'm going to lean to Indiana. I like the home crowd. I think they're in good form. Indiana's a team that I've been kind of hit or miss with this season because they've had some high highs and some low lows because they don't guard anybody, but the offense is still really good. I'm going to lean to Indiana. I like the home crowd. At the end of the day, I think the Milwaukee supporting cast is a little bit overrated. Maybe it's mostly Lillard, but I'm going to take Indiana in the spot getting 3.5.
Uh,
I'm assuming you're going to lean to Milwaukee because it's an immediate rematch revenge spot.
nah, I don't know. I really don't know where I lean to this game. I'm up to this point still trying to figure out which side I kind of like for the full game. I think there's only one thing I'm kind of talking myself into,
Giannis
and
PRA.
no, I'm gonna take the Bucks in the first quarter.
Okay.
And I think that they're going to come out and they got out to a hot start in that last first quarter. Like you saw it, it looked like this game wasn't even going to be close, and we were going to be completely wrong about this Pacers team and being able to get it done with that large number. And it just when Ben Matherin came in, that's when the game started to take the tide. When he came in, he was able to get inside the paint, able to really affect scoring, and he just kind of started to take that game over slowly. So. I'm going to go ahead and just back the Bucks in the first quarter with this immediate rematch and say that they come out clicking all things good. Defensively, they're up a little bit. That it's frustrating. You just lost to this team at home again. You've been through the turmoil. This team's kicked your ass all season pretty much, and here we are for a fifth meeting. I think they come out laser focused and on the road, ready to go. So I'll at least take them in the first quarter. I guess I'll respect the deja vu game and take them for the full game, but I really don't like the Bucks for the full game here because I've seen them blow this and they just can't stop anything inside the paint. Like when you watch that game and you look at that game over, everything the Pacers were getting was inside the paint. Ben Mathen was getting inside the paint. He was getting very, very tough looks at the basket and still converting. Halliburton was getting inside the paint. Everybody in the backcourt, because there was just, like you said, Dame's a traffic cone. This backcourt for the Bucks really isn't that good defensively, and they're getting inside. Like I don't know how I can take the Bucks for the full game, but I mean, I guess I lean that way. We'll see. But I really like that first quarter play. And then I still think the over is live because neither one of these teams can really stop anything.
I'm going to lean under in this game. I think this number's too
Really?
high. Yeah, I actually am. You're looking at the 4 meetings this season. Only one of these games has gotten to 251, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
third meeting where Giannis scored 60 and change, and that game landed 266. but all the other games have landed 250 or less. We just saw this game a couple days ago. Game landed 235. I think the total in that game was 260. I'm going to lean to the under. I just think this number is too high. Now, I understand that both teams aren't exactly great defensively. I get that. These teams hate each other. You might see a playoff atmosphere. Maybe one bad quarter throws this off. But 257.5 points is absolutely
Yeah,
massive. Like, that's a crazy
you're right.
number.
One bad quarter really does throw you off when you get something, when you get a
And there's
total
a
that
certain
high.
playoff
I agree.
intensity when these teams play against each other. So the fact that the meetings
Yeah.
so far this season are 3-1 to the under by a decent margin, actually, I'm going to lean under. I just think this number's too high.
Which is crazy because no defense has to be played, Pat. Like, no defense has to be played in this game, and it can still go under. I will admit
Yeah,
that.
it's
So,
just one bad 3-point shooting quarter from like either team, and you're probably
yeah,
fine. So
I admit that. Yeah, I like it. Not bad. All right. We talked about this game so much. Any props or anything?
I mean, I feel like Giannis' PRA is kind of just a running joke when these teams play against each other because he's in line to either go for 50 or maybe an 18 rebound triple double, whatever the hell he does. So I don't mind Giannis triple double. Halliburton, I think, is worth something for. I'm curious if I want the assists or the PRA or maybe just the PA in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Probably PRA because he had 9 rebounds last game. So I think Halliburton's in line for a big stat line. I might just be expecting the stars to show up. I know Middleton's questionable, so we'll see if Malik Beasley maybe gets a boost in usage. I don't mind his threes in this game. But for the most part, nah. I think you're looking at Halliburton and Giannis just going back and forth, and we're going to get a pretty fun game out of it. And I'm not touching Lillard, so that's just not going to
happen. I'm not touching Deshaun Watson. All right, man. Let's go ahead and talk about Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Fantasy is your favorite way to play with all your favorite fantasy players. You can follow their fantasy stats, pick higher or lower, and you can cash in the NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. All that is on Underdog. Man, Michael Penix cashed me out the other day on the passing yards. I will just say that. Hey man, Texas, this is what I was telling you about Texas with Kobe. They played backup quarterbacks all year long. College football playoff committee doesn't recognize that. They just recognize the W that they see next to it. I'm actually convinced that there's actually just the people walking into the college football playoff committee and they still have the BCS machine in the room and they're actually just putting everything in the BCS machine. They're just kind of hanging out, drinking beers and talking about the season, but they're not actually doing anything. Sorry for that little rant. We're talking about Underdog Fantasy, 100% deposit match up to $100. When you use that promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy, I'm gonna be on Underdog for the college football national championship. Make sure you're doing it too. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by a Hockey Gambling Podcast hoodie contest. They just launched their YouTube channel. Go check them out and give them a subscribe. Is it going to hurt you? No, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you. Just click over real quick, subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast new YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hockey Gambling Podcast. And guess what? Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP to enter the contest and you can get a free Hockey Gambling Podcast hoodie. So, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP to enter that contest. All right, let's keep it rolling here. We have the Washington, Virginia Wizards, something like that, going up against Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. Cleveland opened up -7.5. They're currently -8.5. 239.5 is the total in this one. Let's see here. For an injury report,
I saw a 9.5, by the way.
Yeah. That's what I said 9.5, right?
You said 8. You said 8.5.
Oh, my fault. 9.5. Yeah, it's opened up at 7.5, currently sitting at 9.5. Gallinari is questionable for the Washington Wizards. We have Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, Ty Jerome, as you know, all out for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who is this Cleveland team? Who is this Cleveland team to lay? No, who is this Cleveland team to lay 9.5?
That's my point. That's a lot of points. That's a lot.
I don't know, bro.
We don't like this Cleveland team. I mean, we've
really
mentioned it several times. They're also
we
injured,
really don't like the Wizards, but we don't like Cleveland either. I'm not laying 9.5 with them. Give me Wizards plus 9.5.
I don't think the Wizards are good, but they've been okay ATS recently. Like, they have not totally embarrassed themselves compared to the start of the season. I thought this team would be basically what the Pistons are now. They're not that bad. But they were competitive against Atlanta. They beat the Nets. They've had some moments. Lost to Orlando by 8. Golden State, they lost to by 11. Shout out to them for the backdoor cover. But Cleveland's lost 2 straight. I don't think they're a very good team. And I think 9.5 is a massive spread. I'm actually going to lean to Washington here. Cleveland's missing a lot of guys. I can't just suddenly ignore, Garland and Mobley are out, so Mitchell and company will find a way to not only win by margin.
Playing, if they
don't
playing,
win by
this
margin.
Be 12.5? This be like 11.5, 12.5?
I think it'd be higher.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, but
way.
It's just too many points. At least Washington's healthy. They're not good, but at least they're healthy and they try. I'll lean to Washington plus 9.5. I'm not picking them to win the game, but I think Cleveland can win this game by like 6. I think Washington hangs in there.
Yeah, I'm not taking Cleveland. I'm good. Give me Washington.
Cleveland will win by 10. Like, no, they're happy if they win a game. Like, I think Cleveland once again is a team that is fine, but do I trust them to win by margin? No, not at all. I don't think that they're a great basketball team, so I'm going to pass.
That's a pretty wow. 7-9-1. 7-9-1 against the spread at home. It's not very good at all. All right. Let's see here, Scott. What's the total? 239.5. Anything there? Anything on the props? Anything?
I think I'm gonna lean under, but I really don't have much on this game. Like, it's one of those games where with the injury report, you're relying on a bunch of secondary options for Cleveland to step up offensively. And Washington defensively, we know, has not been very good this season, and I'm underselling. They've been horrible. But offensively, they can go through some dry spells. I'm going to lean under. It's just 239.5 just feels massive to me. It's another bad quarter type of game for me. I'm just not going to bother. I'll lean to the under, but no chance I bet it.
Hey, man, this is such a favorable part of the schedule for Jared Allen. I'm going to just say it. It's such a favorable part of the schedule. Like, every single night, he's getting teams that cannot guard him inside of the paint, bro. Every night he's getting teams. He just fell short of that prop last time out, 16. But, man, I'm telling you, I think a little bit different in game script. He gets there. He's had a 30-point game over the past. He's given the Bucks 30. He's given Dallas 24. He's given the Bulls 19. There's a 14 against New Orleans, and then 17 another time against the Jazz. He's been very, very active with Evan Mobley and Darius Garland out. And
does it bother you? It's at 19.5 though. The markets have definitely reacted to his recent performance.
Yeah, but it's the fact. But it's because he like, look at the teams that are towards the bottom in terms of points in the paint scoring. You have the Bucks. He gave them 30. They're at 26. You have Dallas. What did he give them? 24. They're at 24.
I think it's 23 rebounds in that game too. That was
like, and then you have that Utah game where they're up at 19. He only got 17 against them, and so in that Pelicans team, he got 14 points against them. They're a little bit tougher of a matchup. They're up at 12. This Washington team is all the way down at 29. I mean, I think they're reacting to it, but he's still going to have a 20-point game. Like, I'm taking Jared Allen higher than or over wherever platform we're on, 19.5. I like it.
I think I like Kuzma rebounds in this game. It's kind of similar to your logic for Jared Allen and how Washington has no front court options that could actually stop him because Gafford's in foul trouble every game. Kuzma plays a ton of minutes, and for a small forward, power forward hybrid, pretty good rebounder, just in general. To go through his numbers, he's had at least 7 rebounds in 7 of the last 10, and he's had at least 7 rebounds in 11 of the last 19. It's even money for 6.5. Like, somebody's going to have to rebound this ball on the team. So I'll go with Kuzma because he's at least going to play a decent amount of minutes. So give me Kuzma rebounds over 6.5.
All right, if you're looking to go to this game tonight, because the only people that were really, really locked into that handicap are people that are probably going to the game tonight, make sure you use Game Time. Don't worry about trying to find somebody outside the arena and buy tickets, those sketch tickets that might not even work. Don't do that. No. Hop on the Game Time app. I've done it right outside the arena before. I've gotten tickets last minute as I was on the way to the venue, and they were in my phone populated, and I walked in with no sweat. Make sure you tap into that Game Time guarantee where if you buy tickets on Game Time, and if you find tickets somewhere else, maybe somebody in the same row, same section, sitting as you said, hey, I paid $50 less for my tickets, then Game Time is going to credit you 110% the difference. Make sure you you tap into the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research everything in NFL, NBA, and soccer. And they have that revolutionary parlay optimizer tool that, it breaks everything down by hit rate, expected probability, all of these great analytics and data to go to make you feel better about your parlay. Stop betting in the dark and join the over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets. Visit the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start winning today. All right, let's go. I mean, we have OKC on a back-to-back. They're on the road going to play the Atlanta Hawks, who have the worst ATS record in the league. Maybe that was a little bit of biasness of where I want to go with this game. But we have the Hawks with the worst ATS record in the league going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City did just beat Boston Celtics last night, as we talked about earlier. It's currently OKC -1, 248.5 is total. Injury report here. And for the Atlanta Hawks, because they didn't play yesterday, I have Seth Lundy, questionable, no DeAndre Hunter. And there's no official injury report for the Thunder, but as of right now, it looks like everybody that played yesterday should probably play today. Scott, it's basically a pick 'em here. Who's going to win this game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Atlanta Hawks?
It's a great scheduling spot for Atlanta because the Thunder had a war last night that they won. You could argue that it was an emotional high, and they might overlook this opponent and no-show it. Having said that, I can't stand this Atlanta team. And I've made a lot of money fading them no matter what the spot is. I don't really care. This team's one of the worst ATS teams of all time at this point in the season. I'm not taking Atlanta. If I was going to take Atlanta, I'd consider the team total over because I don't think that either team's going to stop anybody in this game. But I just trust the Thunder more. I feel like the Hawks are a team that I faded with over the weekend. I faded them. They were up 20 in the first quarter against Sacramento. And guess what happened? They lost the game. At home. Blew a 20-point lead at home. Like, I can't trust this Atlanta team. They're a poorly run, I don't want to say organization or how you want to phrase it, but I don't like how the parts mesh together with this team. At least OKC has chemistry. I don't know what Atlanta has. They got Trae Young getting a bunch of assists. That's it. That's all they got. DeJounte's been horrible. Clint Capella might be washed. I like Jalen Johnson a lot. He's been really good since returning to the lineup. And Bogey, I think, is a great bench player. But that's basically it. I just don't see much that I like for this Atlanta team. I'm going to lean to OKC. I think they have the better coach. They have the best player on the court, assuming he plays. They have the better bench. They have the better supporting cast. I know it's a very bad scheduling spot for OKC, but the Thunder have proven this season that they are good spot proof. There are no good spots when this team plays because they underachieve anyway. I'm going to lean to the Thunder. I can't stand this Hawks team.
Yeah, I'm so out on the Hawks, man. Like, I am just completely out on the Hawks. And I mean, there's a number of things that we could look at here. I don't even know where to start. On no rest, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 3-0 this season. Only team unbeaten without on no rest this season. So, I mean, we have that going for us. We have the fact that this OKC team, contrary from the start of the season, actually turned up defensively, giving up the 6th fewest points per game in the league over the past 5 games, whereas this Hawks team doing what they always do, sucking on the defensive end and just hoping they outscore teams. And unfortunately for them, what they've been unable to do over the course of this entire season is outscore majority of teams that they've gone up against. I have no idea how we take this Hawks team, man. I just really don't, man. And there's people that's betting the Hawks
before, and they still don't cover. Like, I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, man. I see the line dropping. I see the people coming in on the Hawks and forcing the line drop. I don't know, man. I would be so nervous if I had the Hawks on a slip tonight. I would be so sick to my stomach.
I would pick first quarter because they've been a decent starting team, but they're terrible after halftime.
Yeah, I can't expect them to close this game out. I really can't. I would rather take some random trade prop than take the Hawks on the money line here, but 248.5 is total. Like I said, OKC stepped it up defensively. They are on a back-to-back, though, so they might let some things slide. Let's see what their over/under record is on a back-to-back. Scott, anything you like in the meantime?
I think I'm going to lean over for this game in general. I know the total's dropped about 4 points, but the argument is back-to-back. Maybe OKC sits some people, but damn, man. Like, OKC defensively is still not very good. I do think
Yes,
you're looking
this is a
at
buzzsaw.
I do think you're looking at the Hawks defense being an absolute lost cause. I don't know how they're going to guard anybody in this game. I'm going to lean over. DeAndre Hunter is the only good defender on the entire roster, and he's not playing. So have fun trying to guard Shea. Like, enjoy. I think it's going to be a massive stat game, maybe a same-game parlay game between Shea and Trey and how that works itself out. But I think I'm leaning over. I think one of these teams minimum reaches 130. You might get a track meet game, maybe a Thunder Golden State like in-season tournament type game where you have a close game throughout. Each team walks into 125 and you fly over. I'm going to lean over. I just don't trust either team to guard anybody.
Yeah, 3-0. OKC is to the over with no rest.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like the over is the way to go. Maybe if that's it. Hey, maybe if you want to back Atlanta, that's how you do it. Take their team total over. That might be the way to do it. Because both these two teams are going to score points. They should probably both clear that. All right. In Shea we trust, in Shea we trust, in Shea we trust. I mean,
what's
I
his
don't
points
know
drop at now? Is it at 37.5 yet, or we're still in like 32?
I have no idea. And I mean, I'm at this point, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm not
You
afraid.
just assume
man.
he walks into 35 every game.
Bro,
He's
it's like
he's at 34.5.
The automatic assumption is that he gets 30. Now I'm just trying to figure out, is it a 30 on the dot? Is it a 31? Or is he going to bless me and get a 36, 37? But the automatic assumption every game is that he's walking in 30.
Well, that was my weekend strategy. On Friday, I'm like, oh, they're going to beat the Nuggets, so I might as well take Shea 35-plus points with that, and then he walked into 40. Just how it goes. Like, he just walks into 35 every game he plays.
He's so good, man. He's so freaking good. All right. Shea is so good. Okay. Anything else that
Trey assists I'm tempted by. Chet blocks I like in this game. And I have to mention Jalen Johnson. Even though I don't necessarily like the Hawks in general as a team, I do really like Jalen Johnson as a player. I think that he's very solid. I think he's in line for a good performance, and he's been really
coming
good
for his head when he was in college too.
Well, he also quit midseason with Duke, so I wasn't a big fan of his in college, but he's still a solid player. I can't deny it. His point total's at 15.5. And that line feels too low for a game that I think breaks the 250s. He had 24 last game, 16 the game prior. Guy's good. Guy's really, really good.
I think we can play a rebounds ladder.
Well, somebody's gonna have to rebound the ball in this game.
I think we can play a rebounds ladder. Like, yeah, and what if Capella's in foul trouble? Like, what if Capella?
I think I prefer the Sadiq Bey rebounds, to be honest. Bey, I think, is an underrated rebounder.
No, he is a good rebounder. His is at 6.5. But Jalen Johnson, I mean, Jalen Johnson coming back to the team. That's what everybody thought remember when Atlanta was doing all right in the first part of the season, and then Jalen Johnson got hurt, and then they started sucking, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's Jalen Johnson," and then he came back, and they still started sucking, and then they were like,
"I just remember them losing the first game of the season to Charlotte, so I skipped this team might be decent phase. I saw them lose to Charlotte in their first game of the season, so
that was the first.
No, I don't remember that, but to go through the Bay's rebounding numbers, though, he's had at least 7 rebounds in 5 of the last 6. He had a double-double last game. Plays a bunch of minutes. I'd probably be on Bay rebounds. He might have a double-double tonight. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye out for that.
All right. Let's see here. Next game on the slate, we have the Toronto Raptors going up against the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. Memphis opened up as a -2.5 point favorite. They're currently -1. 228 is the total in this one. That's actually dropped 1.5. For the Toronto Raptors, you have nothing on the injury report. And for the Memphis Grizzlies, who are coming off of back-to-back, Derrick Rose did get hurt in that game. He's TBD for tonight. Still no Brandon Clark. And let's see here. Grizzlies win-loss. I mean, it probably isn't any good because they played without Ja Morant for the majority of the year. But just for shits and giggles, let's see here. Memphis is 1-4 straight up on no rest. And they what are you against the spread here? We have is that no? That's better than 1-4. That's 3-2 actually. 3-2 against the spread. 1-4 straight up. All right, here we are, Scott. What do you like here?
Well, I am going to ask, Ja got injured briefly yesterday. He came back and he played in the win against San Antonio. Any chance
Not
he
only did he
sits
come back
tonight?
and play, I think he quote unquote boomed over Wemby too after that. I think that
He
was
did.
after that.
I think so. I wasn't an insane poster dunk. The one on Baines I thought was better, but still. Or the one on Pirtle, which should have ended his career. Pirtle's career, I mean. That was just ridiculous. But still, Ja played well at double-double last night. Played San Antonio. I don't know if that matters at all. But for this game, Toronto is a team that ruined the historical streak, so I automatically hate this team for the Pistons because they lost that game. Grizzlies at home, they have a good crowd, especially with Ja playing. It's a back-to-back, but I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are on Toronto because two guys on your team got shipped there. They lost Anunoby. Barrett and Quickly looked okay. They were both in foul trouble for most of that first game, but they won.
Mm-hmm.
You think Toronto got better with that trade in the short term?
I think it brought a different energy. And I think so, yes, I do think they got better because I think it just brought a different energy that they were looking for. Not maybe maybe they're not better defensively. Maybe, RJ Barrett isn't as good as a shooter as OG Anunoby, but Quickly is a gifted scorer. Like they get after it. Like they make attempts defensively. It's not like they're just traffic cones out there. So yeah, I think that they did get better. It brought in a new energy. It brought in younger guys around Scotty Barnes, who it seems that they want to build this roster around. So I'm looking forward to see what they do more. But
I guess the reason why I'm asking though is since Toronto's been this bad this season, do you think the recent trade makes them a bit of a buy low candidate where the markets might be underrating them? Or do you think this team just still sucks and it was a one-off? They won the last game. That's kind of why I'm asking.
I think we can buy low, especially when they're getting some. I would wish there was some more points here. I would take Toronto. I'm kind of nervous taking Toronto just to win the game. I think this is a really close game, but
I think I'm going to lean Toronto, but I don't feel great about it as well. There are better games on the card.
I agree with
I would take
somebody
Memphis
in
if
the
they
chat
didn't play yesterday. But the back-to-back, I would rather, consider different options for the game, but I'm going to lean Toronto.
Steve said it. Scoring 106 against the Spurs is kind of concerning.
Yeah, it's not great.
Memphis the night before scoring 106. Like, were you looking ahead to this? Did you know you had a back-to-back and you were trying to kind of just coast through and then really give more effort tonight? Like,
that'd be the first time in 4 years somebody looked ahead to a Toronto matchup. So I don't think they were looking ahead in that game.
But at least looking ahead to the fact that we know we have to play basketball tomorrow. Let's not go, overexert ourselves tonight. But Ja also went back and played in that game. So I don't know, man.
The game was close for like 3 quarters.
I guess I'll trust Ja, but I don't really like it. I think Toronto did get significantly better, and they might actually be better than this Memphis team now. Like, that's really concerning.
I don't think this Memphis team's that good, so I'll fade them on the spot. I'll lean to Toronto.
228 is the total.
I think I'm going to lean under.
I like that.
I don't know if I feel great about it, but Memphis on a back-to-back, this team is still decent defensively. They're not an amazing defensive team compared to previous years with losing Adams and Clark, etc. But
yeah,
they still got some rim protection, which I think can work out. Toronto, we know, is a bad three-point shooting team. I don't think Barrett's going to help with that. Quickly will. Quickly's a good three-point shooter, but he can be streaky at times. I'm going to lean under. I just think this number is a bit too high. I could see a bit more of a physical game in this spot. Memphis scoring 106 last night is a bit concerning. I'm going to lean to the under. This line feels a little bit too high for me.
Yeah, I like the under too. Memphis 1-4 to the under, and with no rest this season. The fact they played 5 games, no rest this season is kind of crazy, but 1-4 to that number with no rest this season. All right. Any props you like for a move on? Anything?
I automatically got to be tempted by the under for Jaren Jackson rebounds because the man's allergic to grabbing basketballs off the rim. So I'm kind of tempted by that under. It's amazing how a 7-footer can't guard a rebound to save his life.
Honestly, why have we not just been parlaying his under rebounds with over and blocks? Like, it's clear that's the only thing he cares about doing around the rim.
Sure, the steals have actually been pretty good recently for Jaren. He had a decent amount of blocks yesterday too, but the steals have been pretty good for him. But in general, Ja's at 8.5 assists. I don't think I can consider that. He's probably going to go over, but I just can't at 8.5. The line feels a bit high. I got to go back to the PRA machine. I'm a fan of Scotty Barnes. It's tough to go against 34.5 PRA. Guy does
have that on my card.
So I got to mention that.
Had Scotty Barnes on the card. I kind of want to go back to Quickly and take Quickly again. He did get over his prop. Even though, that foul trouble and all that stuff, he still got over that last game in Toronto. Probably gets into a little bit more rhythm. I'm going to be concerned about the Marcus Smart matchup, but I'm not really too keen on Marcus Smart these days. So I'll take Emmanuel quickly. Go ahead and get it done. Oh, what is his prop today? I don't even think it's out yet.
Let me see quickly.
Nope, I got him at 15.5 here, minus 125. Yeah, I think
You
we can
prefer
get
the
over
points or the threes?
Give me the points.
Okay. If you're curious, by the way, you can get the 3-pointers at. Sorry, just quickly pulling that up. You get the 3-pointers at 2.5. The over 2.5 plus 145.
Oh wow, no, I'll take both. That's a good value. Yeah, he just got to get going, and he'll be all right. I really think Quickly is going to be really, really good for Toronto. Like maybe something like Lou Will when he was playing for Toronto.
I don't know why they paid Schroeder if they got a younger version of the same guy, but sure. I mean, they might end up trading Schroeder by the trade deadline, so we'll see what happens there. But I don't mind Jaren Jackson blocks in this game too. I mentioned before Toronto can't really shoot. We know RJ Barrett and Quickly are never afraid of actually attacking the basket. Jaren's going to park himself down there and try to punt every shot. So I don't mind Jaren. And he's at home, so they might stat pad his numbers. I'll take the over blocks for Jaren.
Might have to SGP this game. Might have to get a same game parlay going in this game. I really like this game because I think Ja's going to have a game. I think he's going to – I would take Ja. I think Ja's going to have a game. Toronto can't stop anything inside the paint. And that's where Ja lives. He leads the league in scoring inside the paint. And I think he's going to get to the foul line. So when you wait a little bit closer, because they normally do it closer to game time, look for Ja free throws and just take the higher or the more or the over, whatever you're looking on. I think that he's going to get to the line often, and that's going to really push his 25.5. That's way too low. I think Ja's going off today.
Well, he ended Pirtle's career once already, so he can go for it again in this game. So,
all right. Next game up, we have the New Orleans Pelicans on the road going to play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota open up minus 4.5. They are currently minus 6.5. 222.5 is the total injury report for these two teams. And we have for the Pelicans, Trey Murphy, the third, is TBD. They did play yesterday. Trey Murphy was ruled out closer to game time. And for Minnesota, it's pretty clean. We know Jalen Clark is on IR with that Achilles injury. He's done. Looking at here against the spread, the the Pelicans are 2-2, 2-2 against the spread on a back-to-back this season, and they are also that is not no rest. That is no rest. We have the New Orleans 1-3 straight up 2-2 against the spread. I mean, there was nothing in my mind that told me that I was taking New Orleans here. This is an absolute lock for me in Minnesota minus 6.5. I can't trust New Orleans. I don't trust New Orleans to do anything right. And they just came off of a blowout win. A blowout win the day before. I'm so great with fading this team after a blowout win. So great.
Minnesota's also 14-1 at home, straight up, which helps. But I don't know. Recently, I've been watching more Minnesota basketball, and there's just something that I'm not vibing with this team. I recognize they're still a good team, but Brunson, we saw, have a terrible shooting game at 14 assists. Randall at 39. Gobert, Cat, come on, man. 39 points for Randall? You got to do better than that. But I do think, look at this matchup, I think I'm going to lean New Orleans in the spot. 6.5, I just think is too large. It's a back-to-back, but New Orleans got to rest all the starters for the entire fourth quarter because they were beating my Nets by 30 about at halftime. I'm going to lean New Orleans here. Once again, Minnesota's a team that I have not been the biggest fan of how they've played lately. I recognize the upside with this team. I recognize the record, the home record. I get it. It's a lot of impressive stuff. But just watching this team play for the last couple of games, I've not been overly impressed. They lost to the Knicks, which I thought they looked pretty bad in. Beat the Lakers in a game that LeBron may or may not have hit the game-tying 3, but either way, point is they won that game. They struggled against a Dallas team missing half the roster. That game was close in the fourth quarter when their best player was arguably Tim Hardaway Jr., and they got killed by the Thunder. I just think this Timberwolves team is, of course, very good, but recently something just feels a bit off to me. I'm going to lean to New Orleans on the spot.
Yeah. I admit they have not covered the last 4 games. It's a pretty bad streak going on. I just can't. I can't get behind New Orleans to get this win on the road. And I'm not buying into this New Orleans team, man.
I'm not buying into them either. I just don't want to lay 6.5.
But do you think Minnesota wins?
Probably.
Like, are you playing that
New
game where
Orleans has a
Minnesota
shot
wins?
in this game.
You think? Okay.
I think New Orleans has a shot personally, but if I had to guess, probably Minnesota wins the game. But I'm kind of threading a needle. I don't know. It's just something with Minnesota watching them play recently. I feel like they need Ant to have a big game every game, and I don't like the scoring depth on this roster. And I think that New Orleans does have that. So I think New Orleans can match up against this team. The last two meetings, New Orleans has actually done decently. They lost at home by 1, and they beat Minnesota by, what was it, like 17 or 14 in the last game they played? 14. So New Orleans has been decent in the last 2 games. I think it's going to be a closer matchup. So I'm personally going to lean to the underdog in this spot.
All right. Let's see. Total
I'm gonna lean over,
222.
All 3 meetings have gone over, so I have no reason to think this game might go under. I'll lean over in this game.
And yeah, I'm rocking with Ant, man. I'm rocking with Ant. I think Ant's gonna lead this team to a win. Give me what's his points prop at nowadays? 29.5. Dang, he's worked his way up to 29.5. Thought it was 27.5 last time I bet him. All right, 29.5, 30. I kind of don't like it as much there, but I think he carries him. He's really the backbone of this team. Anything else you like in this game?
Not really. But I think we kind of covered it.
All right, great. Next game on the slate, we have your Brooklyn Nets coming off of back-to-back as well. It's a lot of back-to-backs today. Playing the Houston Rockets. Houston opened up -6. They're actually down -5.5. 221 is the total injury report for these two teams. And we have nothing really different for Brooklyn right now. And for the Rockets, Tari Eason is questionable. Dylan Brooke is still out for a little while. Victor Oladipo, same song and dance with him. All right. What are we doing here? We have Brooklyn, who is currently 2-3 straight up off of a back-to-back. And where are we going? They are sitting at, where's Brooklyn? 2-2-1. So, nothing really there. 2-2-1 ATS, 2-3 straight up. I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly, Scott. You said that this Brooklyn team doesn't look that good anymore.
No, they're bad.
-5.5. Still rolling with the Rockets.
I'm going to take Houston. They're a good home team. They have been kind of struggling lately, but they had a nice bounce-back win against Detroit where they outscored Detroit. I think it was 47-25 in the third quarter, and they won that game comfortably. The Nets can't score. Just simply put, they scored less than 109 in 3 straight games, scored 85. A reminder, it's 2024. They scored 85 points against the Pelicans last night. To go through the stat line, by the way, Dimwitty confirmed not a listener of the podcast because I called him horrible yesterday, and he scored 0 points. So he's a confirmed not listening to the podcast. Dimwitty and Cam Thomas yesterday went 0 for 17. They scored 0 points. 0 for 17. Are you out of your mind? I can't do it. This team sucks. I can't. A lot of people think it's karma for benching the entire starting unit in the second half against Milwaukee. They weren't going to beat Milwaukee. They weren't going to beat Milwaukee anyway. But this team's not very good. Just simply put, I think Dinwiddie's a waste of space. I think this team can't score. Bridges has struggled recently. Cam Johnson's been fine if you want to take his threes, but I don't know what there is to like about this team offensively. This team is just, they were overachieving. You remember early in the year I was backing them. They were great ATS, and I said
number one. They were number one in ATS.
They were number one, and at some point I said they were going to fall off a cliff because the team's not talented enough. And guess what? The team's not talented enough. They're getting killed. So I'm going to have to take the Rockets here. It's a back-to-back. You can argue pride might play a factor, and maybe the Nets get up for it. They've gotten buried repeatedly. They've lost 4 straight games by at least 6 points. One of them was against the Wizards. The game that was not against the Wizards, they lost every other game by at least 16 points. They're just not good I'll take Houston at home. And defensively, they've fallen off a cliff. Offensively, they always were not great. Defensively, they used to be good. They've been really bad lately. So I'll be on Houston at home.
Which game did Dylan Brooks go out in? Can't remember.
Dylan Brooks got injured in the Pacers game.
In the Pacers game? Okay.
So this pretty much. So yeah.
Yeah, this pretty much tracks. I just kind of let you talk about the side because I really don't want to play one way or another.
I just don't want to back the Nets at this point in time. I'll keep fading them until they cover spread.
And I'm probably just going to lean Houston because of the fact that I'm really good on backing the Nets right now, even though I do think there is a chance that they get up for this game because Houston's been pretty bad defensively. Like this is they've been pretty bad defensively. I mean, okay, yes, you get your 113 against Detroit. You got Detroit after they, did all that blah blah. 131 to Philly. 129.
Oh, Embiid didn't even play in that game, by the way. They give up 131.
Yeah, Embiid did not play. 131 to Philly, 129 to the Suns, 123 to Indiana. Like, I think my play is just going to be on the over here. Give me over 221. I think that the Rockets have they were really good. The reason that that's concerning is that they were really, really good defensively. And then it's just like, ooh, you guys kind of hit a wall. And so could it be Dylan Brooks? Potentially. Game before that was, 106 to 104 win against New Orleans. So potentially it's Dylan Brooks, potentially not. Could be just coincidence. But I think both of these two teams are going to score. I think that the pace is going to be up there. And I just trust points more than trying to pick a side in this one. So slightly in Houston, but I will actually take over 221. I really, really like that play, actually.
I like the over too in this game. Both teams defensively have just not had it the last couple weeks. So I think it's a good number for if you want to go for a bounce back game for Cam Thomas, it might be a good buy low spot, but I don't trust either team to guard anybody. So I'll be
I mean, they got it. He 0 for 17 between two of them. I just think that
Dinwiddie's not going to get better. He's this bad.
Dinwiddie, I didn't say Dinwiddie's name for a reason.
I've been roasting
after
for
scoring 85. After scoring 85, like I think that they're going to settle in a lot more offensively. You can't do any worse than that. Well, I guess you can, but it's really hard. New York Knicks are at home welcoming the Chicago Bulls, where the Knicks opened up as a 6-point favorite, and they are up to a whopping -9.5. 220.5 is the total here. Injury report for the New York Knickerbockers, and we have Malachi Flynn out, Mitchell Robinson, he's gone for a year. And for the Chicago Bulls, we have the Bulls on back-to-back. They played yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah.
They got whooped. Yeah, they got whooped. And so the Bulls are on back-to-back after I knew that was they got whooped by the 76ers. And so now we'll see if Patrick Williams is able to play. No Torrey Craig, no Zach LaVine, no Vucevic, as you already should know.
Kobe White got injured. He was carrying the team
he
for
did.
about a month.
He did. I forgot that happened. Yeah, we should probably just take the Knicks, right?
I'm going to take the Knicks.
Yeah.
I can't go Tibbs.
I don't want to lay this amount of points.
Tibbs has a Luol Deng now. He's got OG Anunoby to play 40 minutes a game. He's got exactly what he needs. But I'm going to go with the Knicks here. I just think that they're a bad matchup for the Bulls. I mean, you're looking at the Knicks being able to throw out a bunch of solid wing defenders. The Bulls don't have much wing scoring. Kobe White was carrying the team, and he recently struggled offensively, and the team fell apart. But you're trying to think of who's going to score for this team if Kobe White's not going to go. Who's going to score for this team? They have Drummond, who is not a good offensive player, could rebound, though. LaVine's still injured. We'll phrase that however you want. What do they have? They have no offensive talent.
Ayo Dosunmu.
He's not been a good offensive player since he was good in Illinois offensively.
He gives you a random 25. Like every season, there's a couple of random 20, 25 games in there where you're like, oh, there's the player that we thought they were going to get all the time.
I mean, just reading off, you got DeRozan. DeRozan's going to have to carry this team. This might be a DeRozan MSG game. But to read off the actual starting lineup once again, Kobe White, who might not play. I'm assuming he's not going to play. Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, who's also questionable, and Drummond. What do you have? One score, assuming that White doesn't play on the entire starting lineup? I'll pass. I'll take the Knicks. Beat Minnesota last game. Good win for them. I'm going to go with the Knicks.
Yeah.
And yes, Luis, I see Vucevic is still out, so he's not going to play.
Yeah, he is. I just don't know how you could take the Bulls. Honestly, don't know how you could take the Bulls, which tells me that the Bulls is probably going to end up being the play tonight, but I can't take them. I'm going to take the Knicks, and I really don't want to lay 9.5 with the Knicks. I really don't want to lay 9.5 with the Knicks, but man, I'm going to take the Knicks, unfortunately.
If you like the Bulls in this game, just parlay it with DeRozan points. It's the only way they're going to cover.
So I don't think it's DeRozan. If they win,
Really?
I do not think it's going to be because of DeRozan. I think DeRozan will be fine. I do not think DeRozan is going to be the reason they win this game.
I'm assuming
if they
Kobe
win
White's
this game,
not playing. That's kind of my point.
He might, but the thing is, I didn't see like his name as like they have Patrick Williams as TBD, but they don't have Kobe White as TBD. So he might actually be okay and good to go. I think somebody in that backcourt is going to torch this Knicks team. So whether it's Kobe White, whether it's Ayo Dosunmu, that's why I mentioned his name because I think it's a chance that he kind of has one. But
can the Sun shoot? I remember Middle Illinois not being a great jump shooter. Can he shoot?
That's why I said he only has those certain there's like 2 or 3 games throughout the year where he looks like he can shoot. He looks like a really, really good offensive player. He gets to the rim, and then the rest of the season he just does nothing. And so I'm just gonna call the Knicks out and say that they're one of his 2 20-point games this season.
Okay.
All right.
I see a good comment from Steve saying that Randall's gone over 9.5 rebounds in he's had 9 straight double-digit rebound games against the Bulls. Now I know that you have Drummond now at center, and he's a good rebounder, but we know Hartenstein might be in foul trouble. We know that Randall's usually going to play a bunch of minutes with this team. Had 39 last game. If you want to go based on usage, I don't mind the Randall rebound angle.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I like Zay Cash. Shout out to Zay Cash for hopping in, catching us live on the YouTube channel. Hey man, what's Andre Drummond's rebound line at, bro?
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
What is his rebound line at today, man?
I don't see any
I don't see it.
props up. No, because they're waiting on the injury reports for some of the other guys.
Right.
I don't mind Kobe White under when the line gets posted if it's still in the 20s. I just think that number's a bit too high.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I really want to know what was the answer on Andre Drummond, man.
I got to assume it's somewhere between 13.5 and 15.5, if I had to guess. Probably 14.5, if I had to guess.
Got to. This man is hilarious. I can't believe he really turned the clock back. 25, 16, 23, 17 in his past 4 games. When he
was rested. They barely used him for about 3 months.
Yeah, and now he's going out there. He said, "I'm not a backup. I am not a backup." Oh man, I don't know. Like, dog, how do they not set this at 16.5 when it opens?
The concern might be a blowout factor, or maybe just foul trouble in general.
Man. All right, yeah. With that, I'm on Randall. I'm
gonna have fun watching Drummond try to guard Brunson in these pick and rolls.
It's gonna be horrible. Actually, we should really be on Brunson because of that.
Well, he had 14 assists last game, but he couldn't shoot. He bricked every shot. I think Brunson goes off in this game if the Knicks are going to score a bunch of points.
Yeah, I like Brunson too. I think Brunson has a good day. All right. Feel good about that one. Just a lot of points for the Knicks, man. All right. Portland going up against Dallas. Dallas is at home laying 11.5. 238 is the total. Injury report here, and we have Anthony Simons questionable, Tamani Camera questionable, Duop Reith questionable, Moses Brown questionable, DeAndre Ayton is out. And for the Mavericks, we have Dante Exum as doubtful. All right, Scott. I talked about this on Monday, and before the game started, KD got ruled out. So Portland fell from a double-digit favorite to -9.5, and they got buried. It's because they didn't close as a double-digit favorite, Scott. You got to close as a double-digit favorite with Portland, and then they're going to show up to the game. We're getting Dallas as a home favorite. You know we hate that. We get Portland as a double-digit favorite. What was that? 6-2 on the year, 3 and 5 straight up. 6-2 on the year, 3 and 5 straight up. I don't think any injury report is going to drop this under double digits. So I think that we're good. The system is here. We get to fade Dallas, Portland plus 11.5. Scott, are you with me?
I really wish I knew if Simons was playing or not. If Simons was
Just
playing, I would
this
be...
this is the most he's been. Like, this is the closest he's been in a while.
I'm really annoyed.
He's playing.
Yeah,
he's playing.
I'm annoyed at myself because I wish I realized that Kyrie came back because I would have slammed Utah. Because I still don't like this Luka and Kyrie backcourt. I just don't think defensively they can guard anybody.
Hammered Utah.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the memo. I just forgot about it. And then Jordan Clarkson has a triple-double off the bench. What the hell is wrong with you, Dallas?
Hey, shout out to Will Hardy. Shout out to Will Hardy, by the way. Hey,
grab a rebound so I could bench your ass. He's got some great sound bites, man. Got some great sound bites. I like the over.
Very good with me.
I like the over in this game. Dallas's backcourt with the Luka and Kyrie, traffic cone central. They're not going to guard anybody. I like Simon's points if he plays. I don't mind Scoot Henderson double-double. If he's in the lineup, I think he might have a bunch of assists. I'm going all over the place here, but yeah, I'm gonna lean Portland. I'm gonna fade Dallas with Luka and Kyrie together because I think defensively they're a lost cause. And until they figure it out, I'm gonna be hesitant.
Please say it. So. Please tell me you're right with me on the plus 470 money line.
Yeah, if Simons plays, I'll pull the trigger.
No, because you're going to get a lower number, Scott. Come on, let's do it right now. Let's just do it right now. Come on. Say it. Just say it, Scott.
I really need
Simons. He's going to play. He's going to play. He's going to play. I'm telling you, he's going to play.
Fine.
Let's just do it. Let's do it.
Fine. Sure. Fine.
Bro, come on. This is a great sweat. Like, what would you rather sweat? Dallas money line here or Portland money line? Like, this is such a great sweat.
I've seen Luka and Kyrie play for over a half a year because of what happened last season, and they can't guard anybody. They're not very good when they're together.
They can't.
So I can't do it. I'll lean Portland.
Simons is gonna have a great game.
Plus 475. Fine. All right.
When they play the drop, and you know they give him, because I don't even think they have anything out on Portland right now. Yeah. So when they drop these lines, like slam Simons over on points, he's gonna come back and he's probably gonna score 30. I'm not gonna lie. He's probably gonna score 30. You're gonna get Dallas can't stop anything inside the paint. Like there's so many reasons how Portland can make this close. Like there's so many ways that Portland can make this close. And if Portland's gonna make this close, I want to sweat a money line. And I'm telling you right now,
37 though. How the hell do you lose to Utah by 37? 37?
Hey,
come on, man.
Hey man.
Come on.
Hey man.
It's disgusting. Come on, man.
And I think people are thinking that it's going to be a bounce back because they lost to Utah by 37, and they might not. They might not.
A bounce back's a win. Winning by 12 is crazy. Like that, I can't take. No.
Yeah, I love it. All right, and now I can't wait to fade this next team. Come on, Come on, Scott. We got to do it. Utah is laying 8.5 at home. Open up minus 5.5 against the Detroit Pistons, the 3-30 Detroit Pistons, who could be starting another losing streak here. 239.5 is the total injury report for these two teams. And I have for the Pistons, Isaiah Stewart is out for a while with a toe injury. And for the Utah Jazz, I have nothing. They are healthy. I mean, I'm really getting flashbacks of fading Utah as a favorite. And I'm looking at Utah minus 8.5. Who is this Utah team to be laying 8.5 points?
In Utah's defense, they had the G League squad beat the Pistons in Detroit by 8 points about 2 weeks ago. So,
okay.
In their defense, that did happen.
But when you see it here, it's a different thing. It's different when you're looking at the number. They were technically a dog in that game. This is different when you're looking at a number and it says 8.5.
It's different, but I understand it because Utah's actually won 5 of 6. They've actually been very good.
So
I'm going to give them props. Utah casually, by the way, 15-19, casually approaching 500.
No, so I tweeted out something after the Thunder beat the Celtics, and I cashed that Thunder money line. And I was sitting there and thinking about. I went through the draft picks and I had posted the draft picks, and I looked and I saw that Jazz pick, and it said top 10 protected, and I'm like, is there a point in time where the season where the Jazz just say, because they're literally 10th worst team right now, That's
Oh,
like there's a
trade
point in time
deadline.
where they just
They're going to
tank.
trade half the team at the trade deadline.
Yeah, and then they're just going to
Mhm.
tank, and they're going to keep this pick this year. And so, at some point, the wheels going to fall off. I don't think it's right now, but 8.5. Come on, man, 8.5.
I'm not sure if Detroit wins like 4 more games the rest of the season. Like, this
Oh
team
my
is
god.
so bad. The thing is, people are like, "Oh yeah, the losing streak's over." They might start another like 15
I'll
game
take the
losing
over
streak.
6.5 for Detroit rest of the season. I'll take over 6.5.
Uh, I mean,
I'll take it. I'll take over
maybe.
6.5.
I think looking at this matchup here, I'm gonna have to. I might actually lean to Utah in this game. I know that it's a spot where blindly you want to take the points because Utah's not built to cover as a favorite. I think Detroit's about to lose another 12, 15 games in a row. I can't do it. Houston was embarrassing themselves out there post Dylan Brooks injury, and then Houston buried them by 20 and change. Utah's been very good recently. I love Hardy as a coach. I think he's a great coach. I'm going to take Utah. I think the Pistons are a laughing stock. I just think that the team's a lost cause. I think they won their game. They're going to revert back to not caring. They're going to embarrass themselves again for the next month and a half. Give me Utah. Let's go Mormons. Give me the Mormons minus 8.5.
I just can't. I can't.
I understand why you can. I get it. I just can't. I just can't do it.
Let's see here.
Detroit, if I fade Detroit the rest of the year blindly, I'll probably make money. So I can't.
Go well. In your defense, Utah is 3-0 as a home favorite this season. I would love to see what was the spread on those games. I'm about to look it
Beat
up.
Dallas by 37. Sure, they earned my trust. Why not? Jordan Clarkson bench triple doubles. Yeah, why not?
So they laid 2 at home against Memphis early on in the season. They got that win. They laid 7 against Portland at home. They got that one in cover. Okay. 7 is pretty high.
All right.
Yeah,
okay.
7. Yeah, I respect 7. I really do. I respect 7. And then
there's no way they covered a line of 7 last year, by the way. they were definitely over.
I don't think they covered 7 at all last year. And then I think that last one is this San Antonio game. No, that's on the road. Where's the last? I don't know. Whatever. There's one more around there somewhere.
They won that San Antonio game, right?
Yeah, they won that one on the road.
Yeah.
So I mean, they've been covering as a favorite. Oh, I mean, bro, this 8.5 just looks disgusting.
Like, it really looks very disgusting. But Utah's been in good form, and Hardy we trust.
Okay, you kind of sold me. I guess I'll go. I'll flip back to Utah. You sold me.
It's just fun to fade the Pistons as well. So
I just hate looking at this 8.5 here. 8.5 really looks nasty. But if I take Utah, I'm backing Laurie.
Yeah,
I'm backing Laurie. So Laurie, give me some Laurie prop in a win, and that's going to be good enough for me.
Bogdanovich revenge game.
Ooh.
Does Alec Burks count because he's been on about 17 teams? Does he count?
No, Alec Burks doesn't count because
I believe he also used to play for Utah, so I have to ask if that counts.
He also sucks too.
He doesn't know that. He has not seen a shot he doesn't like. He does not know that. Monty Williams doesn't know that either. He's playing like 30 minutes a game. Monty Williams has no clue. But it might be a good play on game.
Hey, Marvin, man, if you fade me and you keep making money, like, shout out to you. Shout out to you. So I don't care. As long as y'all make money out here, I don't care what y'all do. For real. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I don't really got anything else. But we got the Clippers playing the Suns. That's going on. Minus 3.5. 232.5 is the total here. Injury report, and we look like we've got where are they at?
Durant's not playing. That's basically it.
Yeah, no Durant. That's pretty much it. No Durant. I don't see anything else on the Clippers side.
I can't take Phoenix without Durant. Congrats, you beat Portland. I'm proud of you. Like, I can't read anything into that. I will admit they have played better lately, so I will give Phoenix props, but they've been an up and down team all year long. The Clippers, when they were going through a slump, were without Kawhi. With Kawhi, this team I actually think is pretty good. So I'm going to lean Clippers here. They just have more firepower. I think they can match up well against this Phoenix team. They need Booker and Beal to carry the entire offense. And I just have more faith in the Clippers' options. I'm going to go with the Clippers here because you have, whether it's Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, even Norman Powell off the bench, who I love as a bench player. They just have more scoring options. I'm going to lean to the Clippers in the spot. If Durant was playing, I might consider Phoenix, but without Durant, I can't do it. I'm going to lean to the Clippers. I'm assuming you're on the same page.
Yeah, I guess I'll take the Clippers too, man. I'm really kind of over this Suns team.
I acknowledge them as being a streaky team, but without Durant, I just think they're outmanned.
I think it's they just can't get that bench together, man. They really can't.
Shout out to Bol though. Had a pretty good game off the bench last time out. He was one rebound away from a double-double. Gotta give him props for it.
Yeah. All right.
Once again, against
the
Clippers, so it doesn't really count. But
I don't really like the Clippers. Like, I don't like this. I really don't like this. But yeah.
By the way, Strutters, Beal going off 25 plus points. I'll consider that going off. I didn't say it's likely. I'm just saying.
I mean, he should do something, man.
That's my version of going off for Beal. It'd be 25.
Feel like we've been here for a long time, and I don't think Bradley Beal's really done anything for this team at all whatsoever.
He's keeping bags.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job, man.
I don't even want to call him Bradley Keep a Bag Beal anymore, because it's like, what are you getting a bag for? You're not playing, and when you do play, I mean, it's not the almost leader in, or did he lead the league?
The real keep a bag king is Ben Simmons.
It's really Harrison Barnes, if we're being completely honest.
Well, Barnes actually plays. Simmons gets paid and just doesn't show up, so he's technically keeping the bag. Oh no, it's Oladipo. Yeah. It's a fake player. He's keeping the bag. Fake player.
The Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic are on the road going to play the Sacramento Kings. Kings open up -1. They are currently -4.5. 231 is the total. And we got here for the Magic, Markelle Fultz, Isaac, and Joe Ingles all out. Nothing to report for the Kings.
What the hell was that?
Kings played basketball last night. Yeah, I was about to say Kings.
They allegedly played basketball. They didn't show up. I don't know who replaced them, but they allegedly played basketball last night.
Yeah, allegedly. I mean, was it looking ahead to this Orlando team?
Maybe.
I don't know, man.
I hope for their sake, man. That was bad.
All right, so
I want to give a shout out to Sabonis, though. I gave out Sabonis triple-double on the show at +360, and he had 11 turnovers. So shout out to him for coming through for me. No, that doesn't count as a triple-double, but he had 11 turnovers last night against Nick Richards and company. Not ideal. But Orlando also lost yesterday. So how do you want to read into it? Do you think the Kings have an ultimate get-right spot?
I mean, off of no rest and how they've been playing off of no rest this season. Oh no, that's a spot you want to back, man. 0-4 straight up, 0-4 against the spread off of no rest this season. I mean, they haven't gotten it done before this point. Why do we think they get it done now? I mean, it's been a couple times I backed them in that spot too, man. I'm taking Orlando.
I'm really on the fence in this game because I've criticized Orlando. I like this team to win the division preseason, but I recognized about 2-3 games into the season, this team just can't score in the half court late in games. They're a terrible fourth quarter offense. And Marvin mentions it. They dribble into the paint and they don't really do anything because this team can't shoot. They have no three-point shooting. They can't stretch the floor. You have Franz who can shoot a little bit. Gary Harris can shoot. But besides that, they really don't have any floor spacers on the entire team. And that's a problem because Sacramento's a good offensive team. Sacramento doesn't guard anybody. And you mentioned how bad they were on back-to-backs this season. But Orlando's a team that I don't want to say peaked too early, but it feels like they might have peaked a bit too early. So I leaned to Golden State last night. They got it done. Props to them. But I'm going to lean Sacramento. It feels like a spot where Mike Brown, a no-nonsense coach, is going to get something out of his guys. So I'm going to lean to Sacramento at home, like the beam.
Orlando, in their own right, is 2-4 straight up. And where are you at? Orlando. 3-3. So 2-4 straight up, 3-3 gets spread coming off of no rest.
I just know Sacramento is going to be able to score more consistently than Orlando. Orlando's offense, I'm really not impressed with. They need
Just-
one or two more solid shooters on this team.
Man, just give me 4.5. Four and a half. Like, if I was getting closer to a pick, I'm okay. I could really buy into Sacramento. That 4.5 is really, I mean, I really just kind of want to say fuck it and take the points, but I do actually think Sacramento wins the game.
That's really threading the needle. You're going
I
Miami
know.
Heat. You're going Miami Heat on this one?
I know. I'm not. I'm just going to take Sacramento all the way to 4.5. 4.5 just sounds like a terrible number. Like, it really feels like I'm getting the worst of the number, and I'm probably not going to actually bet the 4.5, but I'll just take some form of De'Aaron Fox and Sacramento to get a win.
Sure.
Yeah, that feels a lot better. Or maybe like a Keegan Murray threes and a win. Keegan Murray threes have been pretty good, like just historically over the course of the season. So like maybe something like that. But 4.5 is actually really concerning because I could see this being like a 2-point game. I really could.
Give me the clutch award winner to outplay a bad offense in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I like it. All right. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, we'll go Sacramento. All right. Anything else? Yeah, for this game? No.
No. I like Fox. I think that Sabonis rebounds is worth consideration, but yeah, I'm just kind of picking the star players to show up for Sacramento. Maybe you'll see Malik Monk off the bench have a good game, but for the most part, no. I think I'm good.
All right. Let's see here. Last game of the slate. We have the Miami Heat on the road playing the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers open up -5. They're currently sitting at -5.5. 228.5 is total. Injury report. We have for the Lakers, LeBron questionable, AD probable, Cam Reddish probable. Excuse me. D'Angelo Russell is doubtful. Rui Hachimura is out. Was that new? I don't think I knew that.
I think
Hachimura
Hachimura
was
has
out.
been banged up for the last couple of.
Maybe I just wasn't paying attention.
No, he's been playing. He's been battling some
Yeah.
injuries, but he played 8 minutes against New Orleans and he left.
I didn't know Hachimura was out for this game. I just learned that right now.
He's had a calf issue.
All right, and we got for the Miami Heat, Josh Richardson questionable, Caleb Martin doubtful, Jimmy Butler out, Hayward Highsmith out.
I'm not surprised by how it's gone this season, but Jimmy Butler just pisses me off, man. He just never plays. I know how good he is in the playoffs. Guy never plays any games, ever, and nobody cares.
That's how it goes, man. Because they find ways to be just above 500. Like they find ways to be just above 500.
They punt seeding, but it's really just annoying that Jimmy
The
Butler
one
never
season,
plays in any game.
the one season he played, they were the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Great call on this show from the NBA Gambling Podcast early that season. But like,
I remember you said that.
Like the one season he played, they're the 1 seed, and then he just said, "All right, well, I don't want to do that again." Like that's really what it feels like. He said, "Yeah, whatever that was that season, I don't want to do that shit again."
I just miss betting his unders. Jimmy would show up in regular season games and not really try. You bet his unders, and then he would take a week off. And it would be the same thing just over and over again. And now he's still out indefinitely. So I know you cashed well on the first meeting because you liked the exact score of the game and it got there. Yeah, the Lakers are at home, but they've been really bad lately. In fact, they're not a playoff team at the moment. They are currently 500. So do you want to lay 5.5 with the Lakers?
No. This Lakers team gets killed. They get killed by this Miami team. I think they lost 4 of the last 5.
Wouldn't shock me, especially with the coaching advantage for Miami. Spo against Darvin Ham? Yeah, sure. I'll take Spo.
They've definitely lost 3 of the last 4 for sure. Yeah, yeah, man, it's Miami as a dog. I know they just really killed me with that Clippers game. And you know what? And I saw David from Toronto say it earlier. I really should have took Miami in the first half of that game. That's really where if I had took Miami in the first half of that game, I would have covered on the spread. So that's brutal on me. And maybe I will make that correction today because they are a very good first half team. But yeah, we're gonna back Miami here. I mean, they just really just like it's something against this Lakers team. Like it's something against this Lakers team, whether Jimmy plays or not.
I'm gonna lean Miami too. I just don't want to lay 5.5 with this Lakers team. I really do like Miami first half, though. The Lakers have been horrible in the first quarter and the first half all year long. I think if Miami's going to keep this game close and maybe win the game, I would appreciate them coming out to a fast start more than the
Mhm.
actual full game, because the Lakers are a good second half team. So I'll lean to Miami first half as well.
All right. Let's see here. This needs to be a turning point for Miami. As a dog this season, it's not good. It's not good, guys. We're normally better than this. Let's tighten up. Let's tighten up here. All right. Props. Anything else? Totals at
Do you think
228.5.
Bam drives us nuts, but he's done well against the Lakers in the past?
I'm not worried. I mean, Bam doesn't drive me nuts. He may drive you nuts. He doesn't drive me nuts.
Oh,
I
that's
gave
right.
that
Okay.
train up
Yeah, he drives
a
me
year
nuts.
ago.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just not gonna worry about it. Maybe it's whether it's a good matchup, whether it's a bad matchup, whether it cashes, whether it doesn't. I can't lose money on Bam if I don't put money on Bam. So I'm not gonna.
What do you have again? A 20 rebound triple double in the first meeting?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was that game.
I don't really have much for this game. Of course I like Jaquez. Jaquez
Hey
is my
man,
guy.
if it's anybody I like, it's him.
Good player. And now Caleb Martin's out, so more reason.
Yeah,
to like
he
him.
does. I think he was a Lakers fan growing up. He's from LA.
He went to UCLA,
No, he went
so that wouldn't shock
Yeah,
me.
he's from that area. I think he was a Lakers fan growing up. I gotta look into that. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I assume if you're from LA and you go to UCLA that you're a Lakers fan. I can't think of anybody that's from LA, like legitly from LA, and just randomly claims the Clippers. Now that I think about it, I actually don't think I know there's people from LA that like the Clippers, but I can't think of anybody that I know that's from LA that likes the Clippers.
I think Billy Crystal likes the Clippers. That's all I know. That's all I know.
I don't know. I don't. Let me know if you know somebody from LA that likes the Clippers. I know there's LA Clippers fans. I know there are. I know
in the broadcasting field, Bill Simmons has season tickets, but he's not a Clippers fan. He just has tickets. So he's just going to games, not being a fan of the team. So I don't even know. But
all right, man. Lock, dog, underdog. Did we do a mojo change here at one point?
I don't even know. I thought the mojo's been good recently.
I feel like we've been. Yeah, this week's been going pretty well. Let's not change anything up. We've been solid this week.
I swept with you on Friday. So
all right, let's see here. What do we? It's actually kind of a lot of things I like today. I like Portland. I do like Miami. Let's see here. I really do like that over in the Brooklyn Nets and Houston game too.
So take it. I dare you to take it.
The over in that game? I'm probably gonna bet that today. I'm probably really gonna bet that.
Take it as your lock. You know you want it.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn between that and Portland. I really just want to fade Dallas. Like this is really just the ultimate fade of Dallas at home with Kyrie. And yeah, fuck it. I'm just gonna take Portland. Give me Portland. Get it done. Plus 11.5 for my dog. Even though make sure you sprinkle on that money line.
I know what you're gonna take.
What am I taking?
You're taking Portland money line, right?
Oh no, I'm not gonna double dip like that. Of course I'm playing. Of course I'm playing Portland money line. Yeah. I'm definitely playing Portland money line, but I'm not gonna.
I thought that was gonna be your like Hail Mary. Yeah, you haven't had a bragging rights dog for a while where you can do.
I feel like I don't have to make Portland my dog for me to get the bragging rights over Portland money line.
That's fair.
I was calling for this. All right, fine.
Makes for a good soundbite at the end of the show.
I'll just flip. All right, I'll flip it. Give me Miami plus 5.5 as my lock. I'll go back to the Miami well. And then I will take Portland plus 470 as my dog. There we go. But I'm still taking Miami what is that line at? What is that number at? Plus 180. I'm still taking Miami at plus 180. And I'm probably going to parlay that with some Jaime Jaquez points. Maybe like 15. Maybe 20. I'll probably go 20.
All right. So for my lock on the show, I think for this one, I'm going to go with the Knicks game. I'm actually going to take the Knicks first half. I think that they're going to get out to a good start, and I think that Chicago on a back-to-back, Kobe White's banged up. I think it's a pretty rough spot for them. So I see the Knicks at about minus 5.5 at minus 104 in the first half. I'm going to take that. Knicks in the first half this season have been mediocre, but at home, they're actually pretty good. So I do think the Knicks can get out to a decent start in MSG. The Bulls, though, on the road this season, have the 4th worst first half point differential in the entire league. They were a really bad team early in games. They were down 30 basically at halftime against Philly last night. Given the Knicks' first half, I do think that with Anunoby on the roster, Josh Hart, and DiVincenzo, they can throw a lot of interesting defensive looks at the Chicago backcourt. And Chicago has no scoring depth at all. So I do think that Brunson will play better. I think Brunson's in line for a better shooting game. Randall's off a 39 piece. I think he can play well as well. But I do like how this Knicks roster looks with Anunoby. And I do think that until I see Chicago show up for the road games, I'm not going to back them to do well early on. So give me the Knicks to look sharper in the first half of this game. I'll take the Knicks first half -5.5 as my lock. For my dog, I feel like I need something like SGP related for this Hawks and Thunder game, just because I feel like I need it. But I also think Şengün tears this Nets team in two. So I got to figure out what I want to do for this game. I think for this one, I'm going to go with a combo play. I'm going to take Şengün for what do I want for Şengün? I want the rebounds or do I want the points? Yeah, I think I'm just going to I actually might go for like a 3-pick parlay, same game parlay for this one. Give me Şengün points at 20. I'll take Şengün 20 points, Şengün 10 rebounds, and I'll take Rockets -5. And then 3 picks plus 279. So once again, that's Şengün over 9.5 rebounds, Şengün over 19.5 points, and Rockets -5. I'll take those 3 at plus 279.
Scott cooking in the lab to give you an SGP for his dog today. Scott, anything else for the people before we get up out of here?
Yes, we need an underdog lineup.
Oh, yeah, we do. Crap. All right. Brunson.
Or entry.
Let's start there.
Whatever.
Let's start with Brunson. I feel like we both said we liked him earlier.
Yeah, you know what his number is?
Give me a second. 25.5 higher.
That's such a good buy low spot for a bad shooting game.
He
still took 20 plus shots last game.
The
volume was there. He just shot poorly.
We need to add that as a bonus play. That's a bonus lot. Brunson over 25.5. So, yeah, Brunson 25 plus. I like that.
I like Şengün rebounds against the Nets. This team can't rebound.
All right. Higher 10 rebounds for Şengün. And
we need something in that Thunder game, right?
Yeah, we do.
Shea's at 34.5, which
33.5 on underdog.
I've seen worse plays, but
bro, I will never. You'll never like. We could just put Shea. Like, I'm not gonna have any quarrels with Shea unless you have somebody else. Yeah, we can. I will never have any quarrels with Shea. Shea higher 33.5 points. Jalen Brunson higher 25.5 points, and Alperen Şengün higher 10 rebounds. Those 3 picks give you 6-1 on underdog. $100 gets you $600. Make sure you use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. All right. We've been here for an hour and a half. We're getting up out of here. We've got things to do. You got things to do. I have nothing else to say, nothing else to do. No other way of ending the podcast. Just going to like this. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. We are out of here.